and member of the House Select Committee on China, Andy Barr, as we also try to show some video, the latest video of this balloon, as it, I think, just transited North Carolina, Griff. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the images you're seeing here are over North Carolina.
And you can see there's a plane making its way across the screen. This was just a short while ago, and we're working to get a live video up of this balloon to keep an eye on it as we interview the congressman. Congressman Barr is a member of the House Foreign Affairs and also Financial Services Committees, and big focus on the new Select Committee on China. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday. Appreciate your time.
Good to be with you, Jackie.
So this surveillance balloon really shows that China is not just a threat to Taiwan, to East Asia, but this is, you know, we've been calling it a form of aggression from the Pentagon, from the State Department. We haven't heard a lot of it from the White House. But what does this spy balloon tell you about the nature of the U.S. relationship with China at this stage?
Well, Jackie, it's a real brazen violation of not only U.S. sovereignty, but international law. The Article 1 of the Convention of International Civil Airspace is very clear that an incursion of this nature is a violation of international law. I don't buy it when the Chinese Communist Party puts out their propaganda and says that this is a civilian meteorological aircraft that was mistakenly led off course. This is the type of aircraft that and balloon that would use surveillance technology. The Biden administration admits that that's what this is. It's a spy balloon. But I don't believe the Biden administration when they put out this defense that they didn't intercept the balloon. They didn't shoot it down when they could over the Aleutian Islands, over the open water when it initially violated Alaskan airspace. They say that their intelligence collection capability is not any better than a low orbit satellite. That's just not credible. 12 kilometers versus 1,200 kilometers is a big difference in terms of that kind of a platform being able to collect better, higher resolution intelligence, especially when you consider that this balloon and the flight path was over very sensitive, fixed national security sites like a nuclear weapons facility in Montana. So to allow this spy satellite to continue its path across the continental United States is unacceptable.
Yeah, China's whole song and dance about this being a weather balloon is about as believable as their claim that there was never a Blinken trip scheduled. We know that that's not true either. But, you know, let's accept for a moment the premise that it would have been too dangerous to shoot it down while it's over land. There's still an opportunity, I suppose, for the Biden administration to shoot it down after it's over open water. But can you think of any reason that we would choose not to do that? Perhaps that it would allow us to send some sort of a mission over China without retaliation from that side?
Well, you know, the Chinese intercepted U.S. aircraft and took that aircraft apart and gained intelligence when they captured our aircraft. We need to do the same. If we don't have the capability of intercepting it and looking at the instrumentation and the technology on this balloon, I want to know why we don't have that capability, especially when the administration, the Defense Department says that, well, this is somewhat routine, that these things happen. Well, we should have been better prepared in that instance. Yeah. I also want to explore next week when we get back to Washington about the motives here. It is interesting that this happened corresponding to Blinken's planned visit to Beijing. This was, I think, potentially an effort to embarrass the Biden administration. And so what Blinken should be doing, in addition to canceling his trip to Beijing, which of course I agree with, but he should be scheduling an immediate meeting with the Quad, with Australia and India and Japan, and also our Canadian allies, which obviously also were subject to this breach of sovereignty. I think that's what Blinken should be doing right now instead of just scratching his head and questioning what we're going to do about this balloon right now.
Right. You know, the president said his first comments on this balloon this morning, effectively just saying we're going to take care of it. And actually, it wasn't even in response to a question about the balloon specifically. It was a question about China. We assume he was saying we're going to take care of the balloon. But, you know, yesterday he gave remarks at a DNC event, and he brought up his relationship with Chinese President Xi Jinping, didn't ever mention the balloon. I want to play a little soundbite from what he said. Get your reaction.
Mr. President, when and how will you remove the balloon? When and how will you remove the balloon, Mr. President?
So that was not the right soundbite, Congressman. What I was referring to was yesterday he talked about what he often talks about, which was flying, I think, 70,000 miles with the Chinese president, talking about how they have a great working relationship. Was that an appropriate comment while we've got a Chinese spy balloon over American soil and he had not, to that moment, said anything else on the topic?
Not at all. It's embarrassing. He's once again projecting weakness, and weakness invites aggression. We saw that in Ukraine. We need to recognize that weakness will invite aggression with Taiwan and even over our own airspace. Look, this Select Committee on China is timely. It's needed more than ever before, and it needs to be bipartisan. This should not be a political issue. It should be a bipartisan issue. But you've got to think, if this happened, if it was a Russian spy balloon over the United States in 2018, President Trump would have been impeached over this. We need to come together as a country and confront this in a bipartisan way. But what we need from our president, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, is strength. We need deterrence. And this spy balloon should have been intercepted over international waters, and it should have never been allowed to encroach U.S. or Canadian airspace.
Congressman Andy Barr, appreciate your time, and we'll get a chance to ask your Democrat colleague from the Select Committee on China that question you just posed about needing a bipartisan response. So appreciate you being on today with us, sir.